everybody, wait a minute. Sunshine, sunshine, but everybody, wait a minute. Yeah, but everybody, wait a minute. Yeah, keep me right there. Everybody, wait a minute. Well, everybody, wait a minute. Well, everybody, wait a minute. Sunshine, sunshine, but everybody, wait a minute. Yeah, but everybody, wait a minute. Yeah, keep me right there. Everybody, wait a minute. Well, everybody, wait a minute. Well, everybody, wait a minute. Well, everybody, wait a minute. Sunshine, sunshine, but everybody, wait a minute. I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. All right. What's up, world? Welcome back to I Mix What I Like right here on I Mix What I Like. Again, I'm Jared Ball. Happy to be your host. Please do like, share, subscribe. Come on in. Quick wardrobe change from that great Black Liberation Media discussion we just had with Samantha Youssef. Peace to everybody who's able to make it over here. Thank you for your time. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. Gen X life is real. I had to take a little bio break. Had to re up the coffee and my Saturdays with Renee mug. And so the video we're gonna watch, so obviously I want to have a little bit of fun. Was he really on Dr. Phil? That would make sense. Um, so look, I haven't watched a lot of Tim Black's content over the years. I've been aware of him and haven't really, had any cause to overlap or anything like that. And but this video was sent to me by a couple of people, you know, just in terms of one of the criticisms I have of his method, because he doesn't mention my name and he doesn't link to the video of mine that he's criticizing. My Google alert didn't kick in. I wasn't able to use my Google alert to let me know that somebody had called me out. So I had to rely on the good folks in the Double O African community to reach out to me and send it to me, and I appreciate that they did, because if I'm getting called out, if my name's getting, I don't mind checking it out. But so we're gonna watch the whole video. It's not that long. I'm gonna play it in 1.5 times speed. If that becomes a problem, just let me know and we can slow it down. Uh Thanks for the super chat. Go easy. Uh listen, listen, let me just say from the outset, I'm gonna probably have some jokes and I am gonna have a little bit of fun with this, admittedly. But in all seriousness, my main concern is the analysis and the information being given to Black communities. And I don't claim to always be correct, but if I'm wrong, it's within a certain context, and that context should be acknowledged and then addressed. The errors themselves should be addressed. Uh, uh, but what we're about to see here is a really good example of how prevarication and performance can mask a complete absence of analysis, a complete absence of study, a complete absence of any honesty whatsoever. And because of the bravado and the this and the that and the performance, it is meant to have a certain impact. And I think in some circles it's very successful. So uh thanks for the super chat. Please don't go easy. Um, so oh man, this was so okay. But all right, let me pull the video up, and then we can um check it out, because unlike what was done for me, I am putting the video to his in the chat. And as I'm just quickly looking here, did he? Oh no, please tell me he didn't do this. Now, I'm not going to lie. I have removed people's comments from my YouTube videos when they've been wildly disrespectful or dishonest or something like that. You can disagree with me in the chat. Okay, they're still there. Okay, I thought for a second he erased my comments. Uh okay, but his comments, a lot of people seem to, okay, so I just wanted to check that real quick, but he did, they seem to still be there, because I did comment on his video. But let's see. Let me pull this up here. This is the video here. Elitist black professor. Let's see. Is there? Yeah, let's do it that way. Elitist black professor smears black workers for opposing open borders. Okay, that's the headline. All right. Now, again, we're going to note he does not offer a link in his video to mine. I'll just double check that again. And he does not say my name. Oh, he did. He did add it. And then he spells it. All right, I should have taken a screenshot. I promise you this wasn't there this morning. I think he added this after I made a comment. Because one of my first comment was, you don't even link to the video. But there I am listed. This is the level of accuracy and research being put in, everyone. Dr. Jared Bell. All right. That's, even though it's right there in the name of the channel is my name. I'm still all right. So that's where we're at. That's, I think, where we're starting here. I'm gonna speed it up just a little bit, but here we go.
Immigrant rhetoric to make the point that
starting right here again. He's just this is the start of the video. I'm not skipping anything. It's just right out the gate.
Anyone is using anti-immigrant rhetoric to make the point that their own conditions should be improved or be addressed first or primarily, or that the interest, in this case of black people in the United States, are being hampered by immigrants, so-called legal or otherwise, is missing all of the points about how the economy works, the maldistribution of the wealth created, and suggests that we should be pitting ourselves against these relatively powerless and resourceless groups of people to achieve something better for Black America, as opposed to just saying redistribute the wealth that only the ruling elite seem to be sitting on, and then we'd be good. Let's start there. Let's start.
Next on deck.
Let me get this right. And I don't know who that brother is. I don't know who he is, but I can tell you this. And so look, let me just, this is not
So I don't know who he is. He said he spelled my name wrong and has already acknowledged it. I don't know who he is, but then he has a lot to say about this man he doesn't know. Okay.
personal attack on you, but it does sound very tetherish.
It's not a personal attack, but it sounds tetherish. Now, remember, he's calling me an elitist professor, and that what you saw there is the only clip from my whole hour-plus video that he plays, okay? And he's immediately playing this one clip that already explodes his whole claim against me. Even that clip right there is me saying Black people have a right to make claims and advocate for themselves, but to do it by pitting yourself against another poor group of people and saying they're the problem is a disservice to the Black self-interest that Tim Black and others claim that they have. That's the point I'm making. And then I'm saying, even as I'm described here as an elitist professor with my name spelled wrong, and that he starts off saying he does not know, my whole point there is to say, go after the people who actually have the wealth and who are doing the hiring, and you will be attacking an actual pool of resources that has been taken from you. But he's saying that I'm a tether. I'm the tether, the one who has tethered himself, and the ones who have tethered themselves exclusively to their colonizers and enslavers are telling me that I'm somehow a tether and an elitist professor.
Sounds very much hooked in with the Afrocentric, what is Umar?
Dr. Umar is a Pan-African. Oh, now this brother sounds like he thinks all people of African descent share a common heritage and should be united by it.
Sounds very
Message.
So again, I haven't even, forgive all the interruptions, but we're 90 seconds in, and he's already made so many errors. So now he's got my analysis wrong. He's got my position in all this wrong. He's got my name spelled wrong, and now he's got me connected to Umar Johnson. So he doesn't even acknowledge any understanding of Umar or me, and just lumps us in some collective bag that he can then throw into the river.
much like that. Because what you're trying to tell me is we should not want to slow immigration, though we know it cheapens the cost of labor. I don't know if you noticed, example, we're the ones in those sectors of those jobs that these people are coming to take a part of in.
So again, as he will do throughout, he makes reference to data without offering any data. He makes reference anecdotally to a lot of things without support. If he paid attention to my video, even just that one, never mind anything else, he would recognize that my argument is that that's the point. White owners of the economy, in order to suppress wages, want to get rid of all organized, unionized, labor struggled, civil human rights struggle impact on labor so that they can find a cheaper pool of labor that they can absolutely bring in to undercut the cost of labor paid here. But that's to target the underpaid, powerless, so-called illegal immigrant as the target for your criticism is exactly why I'm saying that not only is it wrong, but it is the soft, all the tough talk you're going to see him get into. It's the softest approach. All these people that want to talk all this tough talk and bounce around on their cameras and claim that they're advocating more than anyone else for Black people are taking the most cowardly, reactionary, soft, backwards approach. That's why it's solidarity of dispersed Africans and not backwards reverse hashtags. You're targeting the wrong group.
That's not Trump saying it. Trump didn't invent that, you know? There have been studies conducted on this. I've cited them on this channel. It's not feelings. But you don't overlook those studies, right? To show when immigration goes up.
He's going to talk to me about overlooking studies. I literally, in that video he only plays 2 seconds of, I did an hour on covering a study about ADOS and immigration. The video, the atheist video I played the beginning of that video as a joke has all more about the data of immigrants' impact on the economy, which is overwhelmingly positive. So if you are a small Black business owner in a community that has immigrants, you probably are hurting with their lack of coming to your store. But again, that wouldn't be the problem. That's not the reason why anybody in the Black community is struggling economically. It has nothing to do with immigrants. So he's saying I'm ignoring studies that he's ignoring. He's not sharing them with me here. He didn't put them in the show description of his video as a way to teach anybody anything. And he's probably quoting Center for Immigration Studies in the first place, which, as I showed in the other video, is where all this misinformation is coming from. But we don't know. We can only speculate.
The incarceration of Black males go up. Immigration go up. Jail for us goes up. You're gonna ignore that data point?
If that data point is true, I wouldn't ignore it, but I would say let's look at it more accurately. If the argument is that more Black people get incarcerated with more immigrants coming into the community, to point at the immigrants as the reason for that is absurd. Who's locking you up? It's not immigrants running the prisons. It's certainly not so-called illegal immigrants running the prisons and running the prison industrial complex. It's the same white folks that are firing Black people or not hiring organized unionized labor and hiring cheap so-called illegal or legal migrant workers. They're the ones doing it. And then they're the ones who prey on the conditions caused by a lack of jobs and overly police, overly surveil, and incarcerate poor Black people. So the solution to that is not closing the border, and as if during low periods of immigration, Black incarceration does it, like the incarceration problem goes away, the policing problem goes away. The idea that the police are attacking Black people because of immigrants. So again, but because Tim didn't bother to share whatever he's claiming to cite, I don't know what he's claiming to cite. He could go to the video and see what I'm claiming to cite and I'm citing and get the link and read the study himself. Instead of misrepresenting a 20-second clip or a 2-minute clip of an hour plus long video and then running off with his mouth wildly ignorantly. And again, more important than whatever he's saying about me is that he's giving his audience no honest, accurate information whatsoever.
Well, that doesn't mean they're correlated. It could just be because the way the wind blew, Tim. Oh, okay. So that's
No, not because of the way the wind blew, Tim, because of the way white supremacy and mass incarceration and colonialism work. Go read the propaganda book we just reviewed on Saturdays with Renee. Go watch the video we just posted that Renee posted to Black Liberation Media's Patreon. Go study the propaganda. The crisis of incarceration and over policing occurs regardless of whether there's migrant or immigrant workers, and has nothing to do with. So what is Tim arguing here? That white folks, like the white police and prison complex, is sort of just there. What's the word I'm looking for? In some sort of benign, distant, and then only when the immigrants come here and take all the jobs. Again, like it does none of it. I can't even come up with it. It doesn't make any sense. So then, when they take all the jobs that the white folks are giving them, then the white folks can turn around and incarcerate more Black people. That's what they were waiting for. This is a wild.
so we on now. We don't want to look at logic and say, there's only so many amount of jobs we're competing for, and then we have industries such as construction, landscaping.
Competing for, Tim. Who owns those jobs, Tim, that you're competing for? Who's doing the hiring, Tim?
Drywall, handyman, all these types of things. Like the movie Denzel Washington. What it was the guy.
Like the movie, I'm not showing you any data. I'm not gonna cover your actual analysis, but like that movie.
The black guy in the neighborhood, the devil in the blue dress. Remember that character? That brother didn't have all his marbles, but what was he doing? He was taking care of the houses around. He had on his overalls. He was a black man. He was taking care of the neighborhood and top down trees. And Denzel was like, get away from my tree. Get away from people's tree. Had to get away from the tree because that's what we used to do. It was very common, right? For black people to have certain types of service jobs. Who got those jobs now, sir? I know you don't have them. I think you're a professor. I think I have seen you before. Now I know where I've seen you. I know this guy. You're a professor. I'm not talking about your job. I'm talking about jobs of people that aren't professors, professor.
So again, because I'm a professor, I'm just some elitist who doesn't know anything. Now he claims to now know who I am. Does he know where I teach? Does he know what I teach? This man, by the way, can I show you this real quick? This man has over 201,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. Knowing what I now know about the economy of YouTube, with 200,000 subscribers, Tim, you make more money than me. You, by all likelihood, make more money than me. Talking about I'm the elitist professor. So I find that's an interesting contradiction. And maybe if you weren't so tethered to your YouTube ad revenue that is attached to all this conservative, backwards political thinking, you might reach different conclusions. You might actually read some of the studies you claim. You might actually watch a whole video and offer an analysis of it before just jumping off at the mouth, tough talking and all of that. I find that interesting. And what is the nature of my work? What is the nature of the arguments that I'm making? What is the nature of my public facing and private work, which we'll come back to I'm gonna come back to that point. But so just the simple fact that I'm a professor means that I can't possibly be correct, or that I can't possibly have an analysis that's accurate, and I'm just automatically elite because all of us in academia are the same. And all your experience with the academic world and all the professors in it have because it's clearly extensive. You're able to assess where all of us fit. With your 200,000 subscribers.
My dad worked construction all of his life. He told me 15 years ago, all the jobs, Tim, they're going to the Spanish. I thought he was tripping.
So we could play that game too. So my father is a co-founder of the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists and worked with AFSCME for his entire life, trying to organize and workers to organize the labor so that the problems you're claiming are the result of immigration could actually be dealt with because it's caused by the owners of the economy. So, I mean, we could all play that game. And by the way, Tim, what were you doing before you had your 200,000 subscribers? Because have you ever washed dishes? I've washed dishes. I mean, we could all, I mean, have you really looked at what my career has been? For all this, I'm an elitist professor. Like, it's so tempted to really do it. I kind of want to do, like, I obviously want to do it. But like, I would love to put our backgrounds on display and see who really grew up with what and who really is the elitist. And even if I am an elite academic, whose public or even private work does more for the working class or is oriented to help the working class, so-called the black worker, more? Your $200,000 YouTube channel is for the people.
I thought he just wasn't as enlightened as I was. So maybe he was stuck in another time. You know how much it hurts to say that I didn't accept, I didn't believe him? I mean, I believed him, but I believed it. Hey, these people didn't just want a better life, Dad. He was a foreman because he'd been there for 20 years. And he saw the turnover rate. I know what you say your numbers say. I'm telling you what we know, what we lived. There used to be a job that black men could get coming out of the pen, coming out of jail, coming out of high school.
So wait, you say you know the numbers. So what is the analysis that I offered? What were the numbers that I cited? What was the data that I cited? So in other words, you're telling me I don't have any experience with the lived experience. I'm just looking at data. But you have the anecdotal lived experience. Anecdotal lived experience is not an analysis. It is not better than data. It does not tell you all the realities that are facing everyone. And it does not tell you the context in which people are facing it. So saying that claiming that you have this working class orientation while I'm the elite professor is not offering up an explanation, does not offer, and it does not counter any of the arguments that I made in that video that you have quite conspicuously ignored as you use me to prop up your non-fact-based, non-data-based, non-research-based anecdotal claims, all based in stories and ad hominem attacks against me.
Where they can make $20, $25 an hour. Them jobs stop being $20, $25 an hour because they start going to Hispanic and Mexican people that were doing for $10, $15 an hour.
So that's factually incorrect too. As we've talked about a lot in my work and associated work and videos, et cetera, the problem is, among them, is that labor hasn't been paid a penny more in terms of real wages over the last 50 years. And the only reason that working people have been able to afford in any way the products that they help produce and to spend in the economy is through credit. That's why there's so much debt. This was done by design. So the stagnation of wages for these jobs, and the jobs that you say were taken by immigrants either went overseas because the white people took the companies over there, or because the white owners of companies hired the cheap immigrant labor, or because they didn't pay anybody any more money than in terms of real wages than they were paying in 1970. So again, what you're saying is a problem, is not a problem based on immigration.
They stop hiring us. And I got you with your college degrees and you mix what you like shirt on, telling me that it's a figment of my imagination, that I made it up, that I just bought into some right-wing stereotypes, you cowards.
So I'm the coward. And see, this is the performance I was talking about. This is all this apparently big man, tough talk on camera, as if that's supposed to, and what it is supposed to do is convince you that he's making a point and that he's being honest, and he's not. So I never said anything about what was happening in the world was a figment of anyone's imagination. I said your explanation for why it's happening is incorrect. And then I showed you a report and the research in it that demonstrates the claim that I've been making for years. So this idea that I'm some, again, elite academic ivory tower scholar who's telling you to deny your experience in the favor of some and that I'm the coward is simply pure performance for your underinformed audience. The cowardice is in pointing at poor, powerless people and saying they're to be blamed, they're to be deported, they're to be ICE raided and penned up, while you all wrap yourselves in American flags, side with Trump, side with the fascist state, side with the conservative algorithms and ad revenue to get your 200,000 subscribers, to tell me that I'm representing a cowardice position that you haven't even identified. You haven't even explained what position I'm taking or how I'm taking it. You don't even show any you don't show any of the analysis or argument that I make in that video. You misrepresent the little clip that you play, and then you get up here as if you're emotionally invested as a performance. I mean, it's perfect given the conversation we had this morning on Black Liberation Media with Samantha Youssef regarding how Hollywood projects and creates a sensibility in an audience. That's what Tim is doing here. He's clearly studied a little bit of it, maybe got some of it from the preachers in church. I don't know, they do something similar, or whoever else is influenced. But this is a very YouTubery performative type of thing. This is exactly, I'm sure, how he got his 200,000 subscribers. Because he doesn't have to offer any analysis. He doesn't have to remember, part of that study that I pointed out in the video that he's not really critiquing is the study makes a claim around why these arguments become popular in certain Black communities. And it's very similar to why arguments become popular in all commercially driven media environments targeting certain communities. It's because it offers you a very easy explanation. You don't have to do any real study. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to veer too far off of Fox News. You can just point to a headline, play a distorted version of a clip, and then get your chest all buffed up and start screaming at somebody who's not there, and get all riled up and performative, while offering nothing and speaking and completely contradicting not only what I said, but what you claim to be representing here. Is wild.
Niggas out here hurting, and I got rich fuckers like you telling us we tripping. Did I hate Latino people? What would I fucking hate them for? Why would I hate them?
I never said you hated Latino people. I said you took I said ADOS takes a white nationalist conservative approach to the immigration problem. And who's rich? Again, let's put up our paychecks. I'll put up my Morgan State paycheck, and you put up your YouTube Analytics, Google Sense, AdSense paycheck with your 200,000 subscribers. And let's see who's making what money. And then let's, better yet, Tim, I'll put my money where my mouth is. Let's put the receipts up on what we do with our money. I almost never talk about this, but let's talk about what we do with the money that we make. As I sit here with my rich self, do you even know where I teach?
Why? You're as bad as them liberals and progressives to try to say just because I don't want books in my schools with dildos for my 6-year-old and my 4-year-old to have to read, that means I hate gay people.
No, you probably hate gay people, and that's why you say, you make the false claim that there are children's books being given to public schools with dildos or whatever. Both of my children were raised in public schools with two parents who were aggressively involved with their education. And I promise you, none of that was in there, because if it had been, even where I might not have a problem with the LGBTQ community that you might have, I would have major problems with books targeted to elementary schools that even in a positive way try to make reference to that level of sexuality. So I don't know where that claim comes from, but it's another perfect conservative, white, reactionary argument that works well for your algorithm, your uninformed audience, and the performance that you got running here.
What happened to no correlation?
And then you talk about no correlation. I never said anything about dildos and children's books and the queer community. Like, so you just making stuff up. You just making stuff up.
I'm tired of these smart ass, college degree having, not the same problems working class people got, having ass black people looking down their nose, grinning. Look at this. Look at this. Look at him. Look at him. How concerned is he? How concerned is he? Is he really concerned about us, man?
So if I freeze it there and say, look at him, should we then assume that he's more concerned because I took a random freeze frame from his video? Is that your argument, Tim? The facial expressions, not the data, not the analysis, not the context of the video, but the facial expressions? I'm not going to front at this point in my life. I appreciate being counted as among the Black community. So I thank you, Tim, for that. That's been a little more, of a challenge lately. But I appreciate that much. But everything else is wild, But again, he's calling me an elitist. And his proof is, look at my smirk in this freeze frame he got from the 2 minutes of video that he chose to play. By the way, look at the part that I've highlighted that he has on the screen here as he's, oh my God, I missed this initially. This is perfect. Look at what's highlighted here in this part that he's screaming at me about. However, this strategy, that is the strategy of ADOS taking this very reactionary white nationalist conservative approach to immigration, comes at the cost of normalizing anger and hostility as modes of political engagement. ADOS leaders and followers heavily rely on xenophobic attitudes and anti-immigrant rhetoric to oppose the perceived loss of economic opportunity, social status, and political power vis-a-vis migrant groups. And look at how Tim is acting right now. He is literally acting out, performing the claims of a study. He's studiously ignoring, as he claims to be criticizing me as an elite professor, as he normalizes anger and hostility as a mode of political engagement. So, Tim, I don't want to normalize anger as a mode of engagement. That's why I do tend to laugh and smile a little bit as we engage in some very difficult topics. Sometimes there is a little room for some levity. And maybe what I was saying in that clip was funny. And if you played the clip, you might have laughed, or your audience might have laughed too. But maybe that's why you don't want to play it. So you can put yourself off as this tough talking, super representer, or should we say, again, given the context of the conversation this morning, a Superman representative of the Black community.
Is this like a concern, brother, to you? Stumbling over his words. Mark Lamont is shilling it over here.
Mark Lamont shilling it, he said. So now I'm with Umar and Mark Lamont Hill. And what's hilarious, Tim, is that I've attempted to and have publicly and privately disagreed with both of them. So I think that's funny. You don't even know the difference between me, Mark Lamont Hill, and Umar. And then call me the shill. You call me the shill as you run with this most white nationalist rhetoric. That is with your 200,000 subscribers.
You think he's really relating to poor people? You really think he's relating to brothers out the pen? My cousin did a dime, sir. My cousin did a dime. My cousin did a dime. If it wasn't for his dad owning a landscape business, where the hell would he be? He'd probably be back inside.
So again, anecdotally, what are we doing here? Do I need to list all the people I know who've been locked up? I got locked up briefly. Does that mean anything? That's how I ended up serving a 4-year sentence in the Navy. Does that mean anything? Should I just throw that out? What does that have to do with anything? And then then his father or somebody's father owned a landscaping business. So are you arguing then that owning landscaping businesses is what we should be aspiring to in the big 2025 for economic equality. So even if everything you said there is true, and who knows, we have no way of knowing these anecdotal stories you just pull from thin air to juxtapose yourself against me without knowing one thing about who you're talking about. Can't even spell my name right. So, but again, that's not an analysis. Your cousin or brother doing, first of all, your family member getting locked up, needing to be saved by someone with a job or a small business, is all the construct of the very white supremacist settler capitalist colonial society that you don't want to confront in all your big tough talk. So your response to a mass incarceration industry locking up your loved one and requiring someone who owns a small landscaping business to come save them is to go after poor, working class, laboring, often so-called illegal immigrants? And again, I'm the coward than the elitist, but you want to only challenge the poorest, most powerless group of people. So and then the idea is that these white benefactors will then, if the borders are closed and all the immigrants are kicked out and deported, then these white benefactors who own the economy are then going to come back and hire you at a living wage and not put you in jail. The lack of logic is astounding.
He wasn't doing nothing but the same thing all the kids in the hood was doing, trying to get that paper. I don't mean to put you out there, cuz, but I gotta make my point. You are a success story. You've been out for 10 years. You beat all the odds, cuz. I ain't gonna put your name out, but you know what I'm saying. Cause I got this fucker sitting up here. I got this so-called brother
Their
sitting up here
own-
trying to tell.
And now I'm a fucker. Now you cussing at me? Not at me, because I'm not there. Not at me, because I'm not there. But at me virtually? Wow.
Other brothers up here telling the world like we tripping. To never say, and it's that a reality. And if you're disparaging immigrants, fuck out of here. These say,
Again, you are wrong. You are tripping. But my argument is not that you're disparaging immigrants. My argument is you're disparaging immigrants because you've taken on a white conservative, nationalist, reactionary, capitalist, colonialist worldview that you've wrapped around in your big black tough talk, and you've targeted at the most powerless group of people so that you could put on this little show for your 200,000 subscribers.
people make their bread and butter talking about racism. And then when we say, when you bring in people that,
And then I make my bread and butter talking about racism. Are you acknowledging that my career has been based almost exclusively on talking about the African world experience, most of it as it's taken place here in the United States? So my focus on the Black experience is now making a career out of talking about racism? The lack of logic is astounding here. The backwardness, again, goes far beyond the hashtag. So people who have been doing work whose whole career has been based around making arguments for a group of people is now to be disparaged because you don't agree with it or don't understand it and don't address it and don't engage it? And are you not making your 200,000 subscriber career off of talking about race? Or is this literally Tim Black's? Because I don't watch him, but is this literally his first video talking at all about race?
that employers can choose over us.
Say that again. That what?
Say, and it's not a reality. And if you're disparaging immigrants, fuck out of here. These same people make their bread and butter talking about racism. And then when we say, when you bring in people that employers can choose over us, you just said you believe there's racism, systemic racism. You don't think that they're hiring these people over Black people?
That's my point, Tim. That the white supremacists who are doing the hiring are hiring a group of people that they could pay less than the Black folks who have been part of a labor struggle and the biggest participants by percentage of the population of the labor struggle, Black women specifically, for 100 years. That's my point. You even quickly gloss over it as you try to make yours, skipping over the most important part. The people doing the hiring, of course, are racist and are going to hire another group of people over black people if they could pay them less money. But in your approach, preferred approach, despite you calling mine cowardice, you want to target the poor. You don't want to talk about who's doing the hiring and go to him. You want to call me out of my name and lie about me and then condemn the poorest or the least powerful people as a way of bolstering what you claim is your community, but is really your algorithm. That 200,000 subscriber base doesn't grow like that without you taking these wildly conservative and we have to wonder. Now I'm curious, how much of your audience, how much of those 200,000 subscribers are white nationalists?
Your whole shit is how systemic racism impacts black people. You don't think that immigrants get preferential treatment over black people?
Again, my whole shit is, as you say, the systemic oppression of black people. One of the ways you systemically oppress black people is to destroy the labor base, destroy the labor movement, destroy the concept of unionization, get black people out of the labor struggle, get black people into these false concepts and ideas around black economics and black capitalism and black entrepreneurialism and black business ownership, and then to pit them against an even poorer, certainly more powerless group of so-called illegal immigrants. Yeah.
They're not black Americans. So they get preferential treatment over black Americans. And then there's also a financial incentive. And you mean to tell me you don't realize all that? You want to get up here and talk this shit? Man, come on, man.
Again, that's the point, Tim. There's a financial incentive to not hiring black people, paying, again, that's the whole point. But to blame the immigrant is backwards.
It's pathetic, man. This is what we deal with. Backstabbers.
And now I'm a backstabber. I'm a backstabber.
Backstabbers. Listen, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not about hating immigrants. I do not hate immigrants. I hate liars, though. And I hate people that try to smear us and say we're trying to be negative or...
Tim, where was the lie? You calling me a liar? Where did I lie? Prove the lie. Oh, wait, that would require you to actually go to something I said, clearly lay out what I said, and then demonstrate how I was lying when I said it. Not wrong, not mistaken, or certainly not accurate or correct, but I was lying. Because I'm pointing to your whole video here as a lie on me, based on the fact that you don't know my name, you claim you don't know any, you said you don't know anything about me, you got my argument wrong, you haven't represented it at all, but you call me the liar and the backstabber, while you, claiming to defend black people, are adopting the most white, supremacist, conservative, reactionary politics. But I'm the backstabber. I bring with me the black radical tradition, and I name my sources and cite my sources. But I'm the backstabber while you cite nothing, offer nothing, prove nothing, show nothing, but anecdotal stories that we don't even know are true and certainly don't make your point. They make mine.
xenophobic and some other shit. Folks, I seen it. I lived it. I lived it. It is happening. That's what's happening. It is happening. They want us to believe that there's an endless amount of resources. All we got to do is get white people to give up the resources. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that.
I never said there's an endless amount of resources. I said there's a limited amount of resources that white folks have accumulated over accumulated for themselves. But you just said right there, good luck with that. You don't want to go at them. The big tough talking Tim, he don't want to go at them. The ones that have it all. The 800 people worth $6 trillion. How many of them are so-called illegal immigrants? How many of them are legal immigrants? How many of them are Latinos? Go to that Forbes list and find me all the the landscapers that are on that 800 person Forbes list with the 6.2 trillion in wealth. But you just said you don't, man. Get out of here. We're not doing that. You don't want to go at the people who actually have the power and the resources because you're the tough guy. I'm the backstabbing coward elitist, but you're the tough guy, the super black tough dude who's going to defend Black America by going after the little bit that that the people with nothing have.
We got a window right now. We have a president that's actually serious about immigration.
And now you want to link up with Trump. So where has Trump and the Republicans and the Democrats, for that matter, been for Black people? While you talk about who's backstabber, you calling me a backstabber while literally telling your audience to support Trump.
You know, not bringing in people. They're serious about the border. We got a brief window. This will stave off the inevitable for a little bit of time. This is just a blink in time, Johnson. A blink in time. That's all this is. Because if a Democrat gets back in, they're gonna open back up the floodgates and serve the burritos. Come on back.
And serve the burritos. I don't hate the immigrants. I'm not a xenophobe. But they're gonna open up the borders and serve the burritos, and they're gonna come over here, and the Democrats are gonna. So you're a shill for the Republicans and Donald Trump, and want to talk about me being a fucker and a backstabber and a coward, while you go running to the whitest fascist lunatic with your Peter Thielian logic. This is wild.
It's going to be back to La Raza. Because that's what they want to build their party off.
Venceremos, motherfucker.
But you ain't doing nothing but helping them. Nah, man, I'm off that. I'm off that totally. If you think that means, hey, you know, Mexico, they telling Americans to get your ass up out of here, gringo. I see them. They're riding. They're kicking Americans out of Mexico. You ain't doing nothing but.
First of all, she said that's not even what's happening. The president down there said, if you gonna kick us out, we're not gonna let you come down here either. We're gonna mess up your little tourism thing. And now you defending the white folk tourists? You defending the settler tourism as part of your black Superman black analysis? This is a Superman black analysis. This is very Superman, very Disney, Superman or Marvel or Warner Brothers, I should say. This is very Warner Brothers. It is Disney. It's all of them. I know he's not a Disney product, but it is a very Disney argument. This is a Warner Brothers Superman argument if I've ever seen one.
Running up the prices and making a gentrification in their cities, and they don't appreciate it. But no, you say we are bad. There are countries with way more. Folks, there are other countries in the Western world that have much stricter immigration laws than America, by the way. Try this shit in Poland.
So you want to side up with fascist Europeans? That's what you want to emulate? Again, who's the coward here?
Try it in Poland. You ain't gonna see it. It's all bogus. It's all smoke and mirrors. You're building these people support globalization. Globalization. They do not support working.
The reason, again, the history is so misunderstood here. One of the reasons why immigrants, illegal or otherwise, are invited here is because the white workers, the white business owners who own everything don't want to pay anybody. So the history of this country and the history of Europe and Poland is very different. But so they wouldn't have the need. They don't have the land mass that this country has. They don't have the need for a resource producing capacity that this country has to invite immigrants in. They can play their little Nazi fascism a little bit tougher because they don't need to undergird their already weakened labor force by bringing in other communities. That is the need here. But again, you want to target the immigrants, side with the fascists, and use fascist Europeans as the exemplar that should be followed.
Class people. This is nonsense. Take your rhetoric, take your talking down to, your smear tactics, your fear mongering.
And who am I? I'm talking down to people. I've never called anybody out their name like this. Never. Wouldn't. As a matter of general purpose and cause. Wouldn't. But your analysis deserves it. This analysis deserves all the vitriol. But I think I'm being relatively measured.
We try to do so. We try to do anything. Most of these people, if they're seeking asylum and their lives are threatened in other countries, if there is a natural disaster, if there is war, famine, these things, that's different. That's asylum, baby. But if all you coming to America to do is to make more money, guess what? So are we. We're full.
And remember, Trump is not only lying about immigration and deportation and wall building and all this other stuff, but he's literally allowing people to buy their way into this country and make all the money off this country that they want. And somehow you think this is going to benefit Black people? You think all these people paying their way in to exploit the economy of this country are going to somehow benefit Black people as you encourage your audience to team up with Trump?
Case closed, face closed. If you can't advocate for that, I got no problems with you not advocating for that. Just stop talking like you're advocating for Black Americans, because you are not. You're advocating for the melting pot. You're advocating for immigrants. You're advocating for Latinos. I get it. They got their supporters, and I got no problem with them having their advocates.
That's what people say when they don't understand the argument and have no nuance and don't actually engage the analysis that I or others are making. The best thing that Black people in this country can do for self-interest is to join up with all the radical movements that encourage more redistribution. So you're telling me I'm fighting for a melting pot and for the immigrants. You're fighting for the white supremacists. You're fighting for the white nationalists. You accuse me of teaming up with the Latinos. Fine. Yeah. But you're teaming up with the white nationalists and the fascists. You are speaking Peter Thiel's logic, whether you know it or not. You're carrying his exact argument. The techno-fascist argument. You're carrying it into as a Black Black self-interest defending claim. This is actually a remarkable example of the argument I've been making and others have been making for a long time. Yeah, I got to get past all the name calling, all of that of me personally, but this is exactly what's happening.
But I advocate for Black Americans. I advocate for the working class. Just so happens, this is an issue that impacts working class and Black Americans. Okay? And there are
You're not advocating for the working class. You're not advocating for unions. You're not advocating for socialism. You're not advocating for a labor movement. You're not advocating that Black people join the labor movement. You're literally saying the white contracting jobs that will go to Black small employers are going to immigrants, and that's hurting the Black community. It's a Black capitalist argument. You're saying that Black self-interest is benefits when the borders are closed and you only have to deal directly with the fascists. And you think that that's going to work, or you claim to think that that's going to work. I don't know. Maybe you're just doing this for the ad revenue. I don't know. This is a very Google AdSense friendly argument. And I'm not at all surprised that he has 200,000 followers making this kind of nasty, unthought out, unsupported, performative argument.
Latino Americans, by the way, there are Latino Americans, by the way, who fully relate and agree with me. Not because
yeah, and they're conservatives and they're reactionaries and they're carrying the white supremacist nationalist argument themselves. Or you're probably finding it in the descendants of the anti-Castro Cubans in Florida. Like that's of course there are. That's not an analysis. That's not an argument. That's not even a defense of your claim.
they hate themselves. Not because they hate themselves, but they don't want the cost of their labor going down the drain either. And they don't see why they should be promoting or paying for other people to come here to try to just get jobs. They're not under any, there's no coup going on in their country.
And again, that's not what's happening. You're leaving out the key component that you quickly glossed over earlier in the video. The white folks doing the hiring are the ones making these choices and setting the policy and doing all the encouragement of taking jobs overseas, opening the border and encouraging so-called illegal immigration to drive down wages. All that's being done by the very white folks you are using the analysis of to make your so-called pro-black argument.
Out of the economy back home. You talking about, oh, we got to do it. Last thing, man. Last thing, y'all. Real talk. Last thing. I do not appreciate being called xenophobic or that I hate immigrants. I don't hate immigrants.
First of all, I never said that about you because I wasn't talking about you at all. I don't watch your stuff. I don't know you. So I wasn't talking about you. I read a report and a study that showed that the ADOS argument is a xenophobic, white conservative, reactionary nationalist argument. You don't want to address that. So you can say you don't appreciate being called whatever. I didn't call you that. Any more than I appreciate being called a fucker and a backstabber and an elitist professor and all this other bullshit. But you're doing what you had up on the screen. You're normalizing anger as a mode of discourse because you can't handle the actual argument. You can't handle the nuance and the detail and the difficult process that is revolution. So it's blame the immigrants, get my algorithm up, and make a boatload of money telling black people that I'm for the worker and the poor people.
That's stupid. I work with probably more immigrants than you. A career in Washington, D.C. amongst immigrants.
And then this is where he makes the claim he's Washington, D.C. Where have you been in D.C. working with immigrants other than the Center for Immigration Studies? Again, I admit this. I admit a certain, what you call it, what you want, arrogance, activist arrogance, organization, whatever. If you are a grown-ass man, I don't see gray. I'm assuming he's not painting his beard. Listen, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't see any gray, but he's a grown-ass man. If you've been a grown-ass man in the D.C., Maryland area doing political work, and I don't know you, or we haven't crossed paths even to disagree, I'm confused. And for you to sit up there and say you don't know me, but you've been working in the D.C. community with immigrants, and you've never heard of me, even to hate on me, I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Because I've never seen Tim at any meetings. I've never seen Tim at any rallies. I've never seen Tim in any bookstores, in any cafes. I haven't seen Tim at no go-go shows. I haven't seen Tim anywhere. So, and I admit that's all I would be, a bookstore, a cafe, a go-go show, or an activist organizational space. That's I admit, I'm not anywhere else. So if you're in any of those spaces, we should have crossed paths. So, but again, I'm the liar, right? I'm the one out here lying as he claimed to me earlier.
You cannot keep a job contracting in the federal government for any length of time if you got a problem with immigrants or LGBTQ. I have no problem with anybody. But now I'm in a different career, and I advocate, unlike you, I advocate for black Americans.
You sure are in a different career. You sure are in a different career.
Blinders on, that's my focus. You should respect that. Somebody's got to do that work.
I do respect that. And the people doing that work reach the conclusions I've reached. They just have a better analysis. This idea that the black radical tradition is somehow not concerned or no, to be fair, you're right. It's not a narrow, myopic focus on just black people. It's a focus that starts with black people, understanding that the conditions of black people cannot be changed without broader adjustments happening throughout society and in the African diaspora. But this claim that you have blinders on for the black community may in fact be true, and may be in fact why your analysis is wrong, and why you've only seen what's been fed into those blinders by white nationalist, supremacist, settler, colonial, capitalist analyses that you are clearly well versed in.
The rest of y'all are kumbaya while black people die.
And we kumbaya-ing while black people die. That's how that would be an accurate reflection of my argument and work.
Y'all are talking about the whole globe. You want to save the whales. What about the fish, man? What the fish right in front of you? You go all day about Palestinians, and I feel you.
Again, now who is he talking about? Because if anything, the criticism of me is I don't talk enough about the Palestinian struggle, given what's going on right now. So I'm just being virtually hung in effigy while you gather with your white supremacist stormtroopers and burn that dead body and take away the body parts back to your 200,000 person subscriber YouTube channel, your new career, to hold up as a straw argument, making this performative nonsense of a claim against me and my argument. This is, and worse than anything being said to me, is this is an absolute disrespect of Tim Black's audience. It's very similar to an experience I had with that group years ago. I just saw they reposted the video just a couple weeks ago. The cows group, and I forgot what the acronym stands for, but it's more along the lines of cowardice on white supremacy or something, where they reached out to me and bigged me up and support and praised my work for Black Agenda Report and invited me onto the podcast, and all they wanted to do was talk bad about me and my white mother. That's what's being done here, to falsely use me and my argument to hold up an effigy as you make a horrible argument that ultimately disrespects your own audience. That if you don't respect your audience enough to be honest, to actually investigate what you're criticizing with this level of vitriol, and then to offer no data, no analysis, no response to the claims, the supported with data and evidence claims of my argument, then it's just a complete abrogation of responsibility.
Our babies are dying slow, but they're still dying, sir. Right here in DC. The fentanyl crisis killed more Black babies, Black people, than the war in Gaza.
Again, if that data is true, he could just read. Again, he's ignoring just my work alone, but he's ignoring all the work that I and others have done to make this exact point. But the point to say, to point out that Black life is in a slow motion genocide, as I've actually literally written about, and then to turn around using that base starting point to then say, so therefore we shouldn't care about or recognize the overlap in oppression with other groups, is again absurd. And to say that the people who actually cause Black life to be so devalued should be the people we team up with exclusively, that's what Tim is arguing here. So he's telling his audience, your response to the horrible conditions of Black life in the United States is to side up with exclusively the people who are causing those conditions. And then to claim that you are doing your community, your audience a service, is diabolical. This is atrocious.
What say you?
That's what I say. Your analysis is atrocious. Your conclusions horrific. Your claims fallacious. Your performance unmoving.
Oh no, there's some pictures for your timeline to post on X to ruin my lunch. To shock me that I didn't ask to see. Nah, you want me to post pictures of that? You're putting the marijuana in there, in the weed, dude.
And again, I don't know who he's talking to here or about, because I've never made any of these claims. So now again, my digitally hung effigy is just swinging in the corner over there while he's making all this nonsense, these nonsensical points.
You know what I'm saying? There's a catastrophe going on right now. But see, it ain't cool, man. It ain't trendy.
You're right. No. It ain't cool. It ain't trendy to call out the white nationalism that's causing the problem. So you're saying but it is cool and trendy. Check your own algorithm. And I know you know the numbers. The data at these YouTube analytics are vicious. Tim, I know you've seen the data in your YouTube studio, bro. And I know you saw your numbers go up. I don't know where you start. I don't know nothing about you, but I guarantee his numbers went through the roof as soon as he started talking this nonsense and teaming up with Team Genocide for Black survival.
The liberals will put their heart out and talk about the indignity and get loud and talk about kids starving. We got kids.
Who's getting loud? Who's getting loud? You wait, 2 minutes ago, you were talking about how I was smiling and smirking and having a good time in the face of Black suffering. Who's now doing all the yelling? You are the one yelling and cussing and calling me out my name and literally lying about me. so that you can make a point that isn't anywhere near accurate.
It's dying all over this country, sir. I just got to a store in Alabama where they were running a ring. I only want to repeat what they were doing to them kids for years. Right here. Fucking here, dude. Right here.
If I start banging on my furniture, would that make me more right? Does that make me seem tougher? Start beating on inanimate objects in my office? That's not an analysis. And if you pay attention to what I and others are saying, that's the point we're making. The people causing all of that violence and suffering are the same people telling you that not to look at them and to blame that poor person crossing the border. I mean, it's completely backwards. And the performance here is crazy. Sitting in a room by himself now. Because remember, I'm only there virtually in effigy. But if you could see tucked away in the background here, his 100,000 YouTube subscriber plaque, he's got it up there letting you know, I feed the algorithm what it needs.
These people they like their performance like they're saving the whales.
Look at this is really comical, right? All of this performance here, like he's saving black people, like he's saving the whales of black people, the fish of black people, because he's banging on his desk and cussing my name and calling me an elite professor.
All right, I'm done. Let's move on, man. Let's move on. I'm not going to go to comments because I want to keep my blood pressure down. I don't need to get all upset. I don't need to see the people defending him.
The blood pressure's already high. The blood pressure's already high. And I don't want to go too far with the petty, but because I'm definitely familiar with it. But you don't look like you need to have that blood pressure go any higher than it is, my brother.
Hey, it's not about that. Shut up. Where you work at?
Now you telling me to shut up? And where I work at? Why don't you look it up? Do the research. Where do you work at, Tim? YouTube, with your 200,000 subscribers, making a boatload of money to carry white nationalist conservative water in a black bag.
You know, we used to work in the garment district. Yeah, we used to work in the garment district. Not anymore. Now we drive Uber. Instacart. Everybody can't work at Amazon, sir.
Again, what are you talking about? Who runs the garment district? Who runs these industries? Who are the people doing the hiring? And even if black people were somehow, remember when black people had these jobs that you say that are all now taken by immigrants, what was the condition of the black community? That's why there is a labor movement. That's why, if we, again, doing the anecdotals, that's why my father co-founded the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists. That's why he was a union man. Because he understood. That's the point. The workers need defense. And the best way to defend workers is not to have them team up with the white nationalists, supremacists, colonists, and to carry their water against immigrants. So of course, anyway, of course the black community is struggling economically and otherwise because of white supremacy, because of capitalism, because of colonialism. And you want to erase all of that because you want to defend it. You're defending it by having it take all of that out of the picture and have it be solely focused on the people coming over here from other countries to do work for who?
That boat, last thing, that fucking bridge in Baltimore they got crashed into. Well, I'm sorry. First of all, let me say my condolences to the families. To the families that lost their lives. The families who lost lives of loved ones on that damn bridge. Who was working that bridge? Nighttime, overnight, double pay, right? Time and a half, right? Right? Who was doing that?
So now this is the black version of white supremacist DEI claims because it was overpaid immigrants working that the bridge collapsed. Is that the claim he's making here? Am I hearing this correctly? So now you're doing the Trumpian thing of saying if a plane crashes, it's because they hired too many black folks. If a bridge collapses, it's because they're hiring illegal immigrants and paying them more, or immigrants and paying them more than they would have been paying black people. Is that really what he's saying here? This is the whitest argument I've heard, well, this Monday morning at least, from anybody, much less a black person.
Jasmine Crockett supporting assholes. They come here to pick fruit. They work in the fields. You don't want to work in no field.
Did I say any of that, by the way? I didn't say any of this. I didn't say any of this. The closest thing I said to this was the jobs that they're said to be coming here to take are not jobs any of us should be wanting to do or having to do, and at the pay that they're doing it without the benefits. That's my point.
Do you? You don't want to work in no field, do you? Hello?
I never said that. But you don't. You don't. Didn't you see the news clips where your favorite white folks and Trump supporters had to go pick their own fruit for 5 minutes? They don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. You shouldn't want to do that. Who wants to do that? The immigrants don't want to do. Nobody wants to do it. They do it because they don't have a choice. So you're literally, Tim is literally arguing for, let me get back on the plantation, boss. Let me be the one picking the cotton, boss. Get them immigrants out of here, boss. I'll build a better bridge for you, boss. This is wild.
No, but I work on a bridge making time and a half. Just don't run a boat into it at the time.
The Tim Black Show streams.
Hey, listen, with all due respect, even if you don't agree with me, even if you like Tim's show, you got to demand better. You got to demand better. I know my limited audience demands better. Let me mess around and not check the comments. Check the emails of my friend group. Let me say something out here that they don't feel was well researched enough. I hope your audience, Tim, demands better as you sit there puffing out your chest, banging on furniture, screaming at me, cussing at me into your camera. All right, good folks. Hey, I appreciate you all coming through. Like, share, subscribe, support the platform however you like. Definitely step over to Black Liberation Media if you haven't already, and subscribe over there and check the discussion we had onto this morning's show. Anybody got any comments or questions? I can hang out for a few more minutes. This was fun. And then Tim didn't even call me. Like, that's what I'm saying. Put my name in the video spelled correctly. So at least my Google alert. Yeah, into his camera. You damn right. There's a lot of into that camera. And Yipper is the first one. Absolutely. Do better, Jared. Absolutely. Yipper be the first one. This was fun. I'm not going to lie. I had a good time for this. Oh, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Surgically done. I hope so. I don't know. There was a lot of, I think, assimilating with whitey pilots will give up reparation. I mean, you know, that's what they seem to. Wait, seriously? You're saying he was on Dr. Phil for real? Is that real? Hold up. Stop playing. Oh my goodness. Wait, what is this? Why do working class people blame other working people? So, Lead, I I think part of the answer is in that report that I shared the other day. I think a lot of it is the propaganda that it 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 encourages with very simple claimed solutions that people think a certain way. So Black people don't need to organize and struggle against the system in any meaningful way. They just need to recirculate their dollar, spend better, have better financial literacy. Simple. The nuances and the any of the complications with hiring, firing, labor, employment, policy, and all of that, we don't need to get into any of that. Those people took your jobs. It's very easy. And then this cottage industry that has emerged on YouTube and elsewhere, it can explode as people. Again, you don't have to study, you don't have to engage. He just sat there. I've made it a longer video, but he sat there for 16 and a half minutes screaming and yelling and cussing and lying and banging on his desk and doing all this stuff. And he didn't have to once offer up any data, not once crack a book, not once even, and not even play any meaningful section of the video that I did that he claims to be responding to. So as I did, I went through and played his whole video, stopped it, and offered up where I thought he was wrong. He didn't even do any of that for a segment because he can just easily fall back into Jared is an elitist and a tether and doesn't care about Black working people. It's just so easy. And all he's doing is using white nationalist talking points. I mean, and again, as I showed you, it was so perfect. He's literally yelling at me while freeze framing on the screen to make. Now he's using the freeze frame to point out my facial expression, not in context, just any freeze frame moment of my facial expression, which wasn't even particularly smiling like he was saying I was at that moment, but whatever. But he ignores what I'm showing on the screen from the report that showed how normalizing anger as a mode of exchange is what they do. Just get angry and make a lot of noise and nobody's got to pay any attention. He's an elitist professor. Where he teaches, what he writes, what he says, irrelevant. How much money he makes, which is all public record. Tim, I am speaking to Tim Black directly on this one. I dare you to do a video where you show your AdSense revenue and pull up my salary. That again is public knowledge. I dare you to do that. I dare you to do that. Tim, straight up, I dare you to do that. Go online, find my salary, pull it up, and then put your AdSense numbers up there and show us what that last AdSense check was. I promise you that last AdSense check, your monthly AdSense check is more than what I make in a month at my job. I would bet that. I'll bet you your favorite drink that we can meet up and have since you right down the street. What's your favorite drink? These days, mine is an be specific, is an Uncle Nearest old fashioned. Black owned, Uncle Nearest old fashioned. If your AdSense check is more than mine, my paycheck as I expect it is, you can buy me an old fashioned, an Uncle Nearest old fashioned. But good luck with that, as Brittany said. That's right. Good luck with that. Wait, he has me on screen in his Dr. Phil video? Are you serious? Where is this video? Oh, he is in Dr. Phil. He did do a Dr. Phil. That makes perfect sense. But I don't see. I don't want to just play it because they'll flag me on that. But I don't see where he has me. But if you got a link to that, I'd love to see it. I know Uncle Near is hiring immigrants now. Granny's drink. Yeah. I mean, I'm getting up there. I'm getting up there. It's on his channel. Oh well, that's fine. Maybe I'll check that out another time. He lost supporters for supporting Cornel West and Nina Turner, so now he's MAGA farming. That makes sense. That would make sense as an arc if that's true. Hold on, let me see something. Let me just see if I can find that real quick. That is amazing. He's doing this. He can't be. He can't be. I don't know. Apparently this didn't go well for him. The Dr. Phil thing. I don't know if you could find the link to whatever you saw and send it to me. I'd appreciate it. I'm not finding it real quick. Or can someone put it in the chat? Hey, wait. In all seriousness, though, because I've seen other channels do this, I want to make it clear. I am not. I know you're joking, DC Joe Black, but I am not actually advocating that Tim and I see each other or that anybody go find him or anything like that. I'm only merely pointing out that in all the years of my work in and around that city, I've never seen or heard from him. But I really don't. I would honor the bet that I made so that if Tim does want to do that and show, I would absolutely honor and buy him a drink. But it would just be so we could have a friendly, or I just, you know what, I would even just cover we can even do it remotely. I'll call the bar, tell him he's got a drink on my tab, and you could show up and have a drink with whoever you want to, Tim. We don't have to link up. But I would like to see, I would like, well, I'm putting it out there. I would be shocked if I made more than him. And if I do, the only caveat I would put in that, though, is that my current salary, it took me 18 years to get to at my job. And I bet in just a few years of the MAGA grift, I bet he's where I'm at. No, I don't mean for this to be an arc. I cannot help, but if I'm going to get called out like that, we definitely going to have some fun with it. So I would love it if I don't need for this to continue, but he would have to get my name right, though. He would have to get, if you're going to look up my salary, you're not going to find it under Jared Bell. Straight up, I'll call the bar. Tell him Tim Black is coming. He's got one, whatever his favorite drink is. And see, I know I need another 100 likes to reach Tim Black in the algorithm. So, all right, good people. It's been a lot for me today. I got other things to get into. This has been a lot of fun, though. That's it. Jared Bell and Camus Banklin. Oh, you just emailed me the video? Hold up. Let me wait. Where's it at? Tim Black or Dr. Phil? There it is. Let's see. Oh, wait, I did see this one. You saying I'm in this? I didn't see me in this. I thought you said he had me in there. But is this him? So he's like he's big on this performance thing. Like he's a performer. He did the performance thing for the Dr. Phil clip. Oh, I thought you were saying I was in it. Okay, I was like, okay, no, I'm not. Yeah. But he's in there screaming into the camera too. He's got so that's like his whole thing. That wasn't just for me. Oh, all right. Well, okay, fair enough. Now we wrapping it up, Chitty Macho. We wrapping it up. But again, Raheem, I'm not saying immigrant populations aren't being used to negatively impact Black and other communities. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's not their fault. And if you really want to fix it, calling them out and focusing on them isn't the solution. And again, I don't think there's data to support beyond what Tim's blustering claims were that the actual downfall of the Black economic condition is any way tied to immigration. I read the data all the time. I read reports on it all the time. I don't see where I don't see where that would be the sensible argument to make. So what's happening in LA and elsewhere has nothing to do or is not the cause of or the decision of or the policy set by immigrants. And that's exactly right, Manny. It's the Black version of the white supremacist great replacement theory. And they want, just like white elites want poor whites blaming everybody else, they're doing the same thing to Black people here. They don't want the Nazis and the poor white workers, the angry, disaffected white worker and the skinheads and the patriot groups. They don't want them, although they're not always successful with this, they don't want them focused on the ruling elite. They want everybody out here mad at Black people and the white liberals and immigrants. But again, this is a misrepresentation. Black Americans have been calling out how immigration has been used to disrupt unions since the late 1800s. So I'm not sure what your point exactly is, Robert Reed, but the more advanced thinking among these folks were recognizing that this was policy being set by the ruling elite, and they were not saying, let's close off the borders. And if they were missing the point and should have been linked up with the radicals who were trying to destroy the system of enslavement, to destroy the system of abuse of working people's conditions. And what the ADOS community and other Black conservatives in the Black capitalist community are advocating for is that Black people leave the labor movement and abandon struggles for workers under the guise of defending workers, in this case, Black workers. And that's the hustle. And then there is also this point too. California is Mexico. So it's like you're saying they're crossing the border crossed them first. And to team up with the people creating the borders and all the policies. It's just backwards. But okay. All right, everybody. Again, thank you very much for joining me this morning, both here and at Black Liberation Media. Please do all the things to support the platform. Peace only if you're willing to fight for it and against the fascists, as Fred Hampton is paraphrased as saying. And I'll catch you next time here with more.
And what do you sacrifice? Calm. Kindness, kinship. Love. I've given up all chance at inner peace. I made my mind a sunless space. I share my dreams with ghosts. I wake up every day to an equation I wrote 15 years ago for which there's only one conclusion. I'm damned for what I do. My anger, my ego, my unwillingness to yield, my eagerness to fight, that set me on a path from which there's no escape. I yearn to be a savior against injustice without contemplating the cost, and by the time I look down, there's no longer any ground beneath my feet. What is my sacrifice? I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them. I burn my decency for someone else's future. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see. Now, the ego that started this fight will never have a mirror or an audience or the light of gratitude. So what do I sacrifice? Everything, 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 everything.
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.